Welcome back to FlyEaglesFly News, where we dive deep into everything happening with the Eagles and keep fans updated on all the highs and lows of the season. Today, we're going to break down some of the biggest talking points from the last game and look at what's coming next for this team. I want to start with something that has been on everyone's mind, and that's the performance of Jake Elliott. Now, there's no sugarcoating it. Elliott has struggled, and it's been a tough couple of seasons for him. The numbers tell the story of field goals that should be automatic are being missed, and the frustration has been real. But to be fair, it's not all on him. The long snapper has been an issue too. When you watch the film, you notice the timing and consistency just aren't there, and it affects the kicker's rhythm. Last year, the snaps were cleaner, and Elliott hit the ones that mattered when it counted in the Super Bowl. This year, though, those small mistakes add up, and it's starting to hurt the team in ways we couldn't ignore. It raises the question, should the Eagles bring in competition for Elliott? Or can adjustments with the long snapper fix things? Only time will tell. But fans are watching closely, and the pressure is on. Moving on from the kicking game, let's talk about accountability and leadership on this team, because that's been a major storyline lately. Cam Jurgens has been outspoken about what's going wrong, particularly with practice habits and week-to-week consistency. He's calling for cleaner work in practice, more focus, and better communication, which is crucial for an offensive line that is the backbone of this offense. When you hear him talk about being responsible for your own performance while still supporting your teammates, it's clear that he's trying to elevate everyone around him. And that sets the tone for the locker room. Leadership doesn't always come from the coaches. Sometimes it has to come from within the roster. And Cam's willingness to speak up is a step in that direction. It's one thing to win games, but it's another to build a culture where everyone is accountable for their role in every play, every snap, and every decision. Speaking of accountability, A.J. Brown has been stepping up in a big way. His energy, focus, and willingness to admit when he makes mistakes are becoming a stabilizing force for the team. There have been games where his drops cost the team points, but there have also been moments where he's been the difference maker, keeping the Eagles competitive in tight situations. What's encouraging is that he's not shying away from those moments. AJ is vocal about taking responsibility, and he's also vocal in supporting his teammates, particularly quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, who are under pressure every single week. Watching AJ talk after the game, you can see that he understands the highs and lows are part of the grind. But the important thing is how you respond. He acknowledges mistakes, learns from them, and moves forward, which is exactly the mentality this team needs as it navigates a challenging stretch. Now, let's dig into Jalen Hurts. There's been plenty of criticism from fans, and sometimes it feels like the locker room vibes don't match the excitement in the stands. But from everything we've seen, Jalen is taking ownership of his performance. He's the type of quarterback who wants to get better, who studies film, and who communicates with his teammates to make everyone around him better. When you hear him talk about trust, preparation, and learning from mistakes, it's clear that he's focused on building more than just wins. He's focused on building a consistent offense. That mindset, combined with A.J. Brown's energy and leadership, is giving the team a core of accountability that could pay huge dividends down the stretch. Another player whose presence cannot be understated is Saquon Barkley. His performance continues to show flashes of brilliance, and even in games where the offense struggles, his work ethic stands out. Watching him on the sideline and in the locker room, you can tell he's engaged and committed to lifting the team. Not just carrying his own load, he pushes the tempo, communicates, and helps keep the energy high even when things aren't going perfectly. That's the kind of presence that makes a locker room feel more cohesive, especially during tough stretches when losses pile up and fans start questioning everything. And speaking of cohesion, the vibe around the team has been intriguing. While fans may be frustrated by a losing streak or what seems like inconsistent play, there's a sense that the players are coming together. Watching post-game interactions, sideline exchanges, and interviews, it's evident that the core group, Jalen, AJ, Saquon, and others, are staying positive and focused on the process. That might seem contradictory given the results on the scoreboard, but it's an important sign. Team chemistry and internal trust are hard to measure, but they are critical for sustaining a long season and pushing through adversity. Finally, we have to talk about Lane Johnson. The right tackle is such a key component of this offense, and his potential return is massive news. Lane's experience, skill, and presence on the line changed the dynamic for both the offensive line and the offense as a whole. When he's out, the line struggles, the quarterback faces more pressure, and the running game isn't as effective. His return could be a turning point for this unit, giving the Eagles stability and confidence in key positions. Beyond just being a starter, Lane represents reliability and leadership that younger players can look up to. Getting him back healthy is not just about filling a position. It's about re-establishing a sense of normalcy and competence that this team desperately needs. All of these elements kicking struggles, accountability from Cam Jurgens, A.J. Brown's leadership, Jalen Hurts' growth, Saquon Barkley's presence, and Lane Johnson returning paint a picture of a team that is facing challenges head-on. There are setbacks and mistakes, yes, but there is also progress, resilience, and moments of positivity that suggest this team has the tools to turn things around. It's a balancing act, and it's never simple. But the growth in accountability and leadership across key players is something fans should notice. These are the building blocks that can help a team not just survive the season, but thrive as it navigates the grind of the NFL schedule. Now, moving forward, one of the most important things for this Eagles team is consistency. Not just in execution on the field, but in mindset and preparation each week. We've seen flashes of brilliance from this roster, but the inconsistency is what has cost them games. The offensive line, despite the leadership of Cam Jurgens, is still finding its rhythm, especially when dealing with injuries or shuffle in the personnel. When you watch film, there are moments where protection breaks down, timing is off, and the quarterback has to improvise, which sometimes works and sometimes leads to turnovers. This is where the role of Lane Johnson becomes even more crucial. His presence at right tackle doesn't just improve pass protection. It steadies the entire line and gives younger players a reference point for how to operate at the highest level. His return could very well stabilize the offense and provide the confidence needed to execute complex plays against top defenses. Speaking of execution, the connection between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown continues to be a highlight. Despite some misfires and drops that have frustrated fans, the chemistry is undeniable. When they're on the same page, the offense looks explosive, and they can stretch defenses vertically while opening up lanes in the run game. A.J.'s accountability in public statements shows his willingness to be the first to own mistakes, which is exactly the kind of leadership that rubs off on the entire team. It's rare to see a wide receiver take responsibility while also reinforcing trust in the quarterback, but A.J. has been doing just that. Jalen, for his part, is starting to show signs of maturity in handling adversity. He's still young, still developing, but the combination of his physical talent and growing mental approach is promising. Fans often fixate on wins and losses, but the work being done behind the scenes through film study, extra reps, and communication can't be overstated. That's where the real growth happens. Now let's circle back to the kicking game for a moment, because it's been such a talking point. Jake Elliott's struggles are well documented, but the situation is more nuanced than just labeling him as unreliable. Football is a team sport, and special teams rely on precise coordination, timing, and trust. The long snapper has been a variable that isn't always highlighted, but it has a huge impact. When the snap is off even slightly, the kicker is forced to adjust in a split second. And that's where misses happen. The Eagles' decision to work with the current long snapper, hoping to fix these issues internally, shows a commitment to continuity, but also carries risk. If the problems persist, competition may become unavoidable. However, if the chemistry improves and Elliott regains his rhythm, it could change the trajectory of close games. It's a small piece, but in a league where 1 point can decide the outcome, small improvements here matter immensely. Another storyline worth focusing on is the mindset in the locker room. Even during a losing streak, the Eagles have demonstrated a remarkable ability to stay cohesive. It's unusual, frankly, because often when losses accumulate, frustration seeps into every corner of the team. But here, the leadership group Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley are actively keeping spirits intact. Their energy on the sidelines, the way they encourage each other, and the willingness to critique themselves while still supporting teammates, indicates a culture shift. Instead of pointing fingers, the focus is on solutions and execution. That's not to say there aren't moments of tension or frustration. Those are inevitable, but the overarching vibe is one of unity. It's a subtle but important difference that could pay dividends when the season enters its critical stretch. Speaking of critical stretches, we need to discuss the offensive line as a whole. Beyond Lane Johnson, there are other pieces that require attention. The unit has talent but is dealing with injuries and inconsistent play. which has contributed to both run and pass struggles. Fred Johnson has shown flashes as a backup, particularly when shifting to guard positions, and his versatility is an asset. However, relying too heavily on backups exposes the line to mistakes and mismatches against elite pass rushers. The Eagles must find ways to maintain stability and performance even when key players are sidelined. Drafting and developing talent at these positions is essential because, as we've seen, the performance of a single lineman can dramatically alter the efficiency of the offense. Meanwhile, the team's ability to bounce back mentally cannot be overlooked. Professional football is as much a mental game as it is physical. Players need to stay confident, trust their preparation, and execute under pressure. Jalen Hurts has shown a willingness to hold himself accountable while fostering a culture of trust, and that's a crucial factor in maintaining composure during tough stretches. A.J. Brown's reflections after games highlight that mindset as well, emphasizing learning from mistakes and improving for the next opportunity. Saquon Barkley's leadership and work ethic further reinforce this mentality. The combination of these key players taking responsibility and motivating their peers creates a resilient environment, which is critical as the Eagles navigate injuries, challenging matchups, and the inevitable highs and lows of a long season. Looking ahead, the potential return of Lane Johnson could serve as a catalyst. A strong, healthy offensive line allows for a balanced attack, giving the quarterback time to make decisions and opening running lanes that keep defenses honest. When Lane is on the field, the Eagles' offensive rhythm improves noticeably, which can turn tight games into victories. It's one of those intangible impacts that isn't always reflected in basic stats, but is obvious when watching the film. His presence can elevate the play of everyone around him and restore confidence in the offensive scheme, which is exactly what this team needs as it enters the most demanding part of the schedule. In addition to individual contributions, the collective mentality of the team is shaping up as a defining feature. Despite a 3-game losing streak, the Eagles show signs of internal alignment that fans might not expect. Post-game interviews, sideline interactions, and visible camaraderie suggest that the locker room is finding its footing. Players are smiling together, encouraging each other, and staying focused on shared goals. That internal cohesion may be the hidden advantage that allows the team to rebound and regain momentum, while the external perception might be critical. What happens behind the scenes often dictates the trajectory of a season. Teams that can maintain focus, accountability, and energy internally are often the ones that perform best in critical moments. FlyEaglesFly News Family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. The buzz around the league has reached a level rarely seen, and it all centers on a shockwave that seems to be rippling through front offices, locker rooms, and fan bases alike. A supposed blockbuster move between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys is said to be not only real but sealed, sparking an avalanche of speculation about what exactly Howie Roseman may have pulled off this time. Observers describe the situation as nothing short of stunning, a maneuver bold even by the standards of a general manager known for threading needles other executives won't even pick up. Insiders whisper that the two NFC East rivals have agreed to a trade so unexpected that it has left both organizations in a state of guarded excitement and nervous anticipation. Details remain locked behind closed doors, with neither side willing to confirm which players or picks might be involved. But the rumor alone has been enough to jolt the football world. The idea of these two longtime adversaries striking a deal is already rare. The notion that such a deal could dramatically alter the balance of power in the division has only amplified the noise. Speculation around the Eagles' front office paints a picture of Roseman working quietly, almost surgically, to position the team for a significant long-term advantage. On the Cowboys side, murmurs suggest a move driven by a mix of opportunity and necessity, as if the front office saw a narrow window and seized it before hesitation could creep in. Some around the league claim the trade could involve a high-impact defensive piece, while others insist it centers on a dynamic offensive talent whose fit could reshape entire playbooks. Nothing has been officially revealed, but the rumor alone has energized analysts and fans alike. Social channels are boiling over. Former players are hinting at having heard the same whispers, and anonymous executives reportedly can't believe the two franchises actually went through with it. Whatever Roseman has orchestrated, it appears to be the kind of move that forces everyone else to rethink their own plans. The league waits, breath held, for confirmation of what could be one of the most talked about trades in recent memory. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.